welcome back to another long form YouTube video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my makeup routine because my aunt actually recommended me to do one of these videos since she wanted to know my makeup routine. So shout out to my Aunt Dawn. But anyways, sit back, relax, and enjoy my makeup routine. First thing we need to do is put on a headband. Perfect. Okay, so the first thing I use for my makeup routine. Pause. You thought I was gonna get right into my makeup routine. No. Girl, you forgot about skincare. Skincare is the most important part to having your makeup look good because it helps blend out the makeup nice and smooth and it doesn't leave any patches on your face. Literally, I used to not do any skincare before my makeup and it looked very bad. Also, everything here is not sponsored. It's just my opinion and my recommendations. The moisturizer I use is a Pineapple Whip moisturizer from Florence by Mills. It's an incredible moisturizer and it keeps my skin so glowy and it also smells so good I want to eat it. The next thing I use after the moisturizer is the Tower 28 SOS spray. It's really good. It just helps keep my skin clean and it's helped me from breaking out more. But yeah, these are the two things I use for my skincare and they're so good together. But now that we've covered skincare, I can now go into my makeup routine. So let's actually go this time. The first thing I use is the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter in shade Fair Pale. So basically where I apply it is on my cheeks, my forehead, and my chin, but I also apply it where my pimples are. But the girlies out there who don't have pimples can skip putting it on their pimples. But for the girlies who do have pimples, apply it anywhere that you have pimples showing. The essential goal for me is to look like a peanut butter baby. It literally looks like I have peanut butter all over my face, but that's a good sign. Anyways, I go in with this brush and I just blend it out evenly. Now that that's done, your face should be looking something like this. Next, I go in with concealer. It's the Hourglass concealer in shade Silk. And I also kind of go crazy with the concealer because of my pimples and I really just want to cover them up. But if you don't have pimples, this is where you should place your concealer. And do it on the other side. But then if you do have pimples, put it everywhere your pimples are. Now that your entire face is covered in concealer, you're gonna wanna let it air dry for maybe 3 minutes just so you can get full coverage. Especially if you have pimples, it helps a lot. I'll be back in 3 minutes.
A few moments later.
Okay, so it's been about 3 minutes. You shouldn't go longer than 3 minutes or else it's gonna dry up and it's not gonna look good and it's gonna be hard to blend. So what I do is I take this brush and I take my Tower 28 spray and I spray 2 times on the brush and then I blend out everywhere where my pimples are. So now that I blended all the concealer on my pimples out, I take this beauty blender and I blend my eye bags. And I also wet this a little bit to make it damp. I don't entirely blend it. I kind of leave it a little bit unblended and I go in with my small brush. I also put a little concealer on my nose because it tends to get really red. And I also kind of put some of the concealer on my eyelids. Then I blend a little bit more over under the eye bags. Perfect! We have our base done now. We just have a few more steps until you're done with my makeup routine. First off, let the concealer dry as much as possible. There is no time limit. The longer the better. Okay, so the next thing I go in with is the Rhode Pocket Blush in shade Freckle. And I place it here. I kind of make like a little U around my eye. And then I kind of bring it in. And then this is what it should look like. I do it on the exact same side. And then I put it on my nose, my eyelids, my chin, and my forehead. Then I take this brush and I blend and bring the blush in a little bit to make that little W look. Okay, now that it's all blended, I go in with bronzer. I use the Rhode Pocket Bronzer in the shade Sip. And my placements are a little weird for this one. I basically go over here and I kind of just surround my face. I put a little bit more bronzer by my cheekbone area and then I go down and I tap. I don't swipe. I feel like tapping is a lot better for me. It's the most weird placement ever, but it works for me. Then I go in with this brush. I blend up into my hairline. Don't blend down because then there'll be kind of a tan line and I don't want that. And then when it comes to this area, I go like this. And then I blend by tapping. So this is what your face should be looking like. Then I go in with a powder blush. It's the Makeup Forever blush in the shade Bold Punch. And I put it in the same place as I put the blush last time. So I kind of do 6 pumps because it's a very faint color. And then I tap to get the pigment on. And then I drag it out by the nose area. And then I put it on my eyelid, my chin, and my forehead. And you got that snatched kind of look. I have a lip tint, so I put it on before my mascara so I can let it dry. And it's from e.l.f. and it's in the shade Cherry Cola. I just love a good cherry lip. So I line my lips and I keep my Cupid's bow. And I also kind of wipe the excess off so it doesn't bleed out of my lip. This is what your lip should be looking like. And you're just gonna let that dry and move on to the next step, which is mascara. I use this eyelash curler from Tweezermon. Then I use this telescopic mascara from L'Oreal, and then I use a spoolie. Basically, what you're gonna want to do is curl at your root of your eyelash. And then I actually curl up. I know it looks kind of scary, but it helps keep the lashes from falling. And I kind of repeat this a few times. So see, this lash looks good and it feels like it won't fall. So then I take my mascara and I paint it on. I don't blink. I feel like that makes the lash fall quicker. So I just paint on and I kind of like lower my eyelid a little bit so it helps apply better. And now that you have a thin layer of mascara on your lashes, you go behind your lash and you just paint on a little bit more mascara to make it a little bit more darker. Then I just go back up, paint it on, and then I blink at the top of my lash. Do you guys see the difference? But anyways, you're gonna wanna repeat this on the other side. If you have any mascara under your lash, I take my spoolie and I brush it off. Also, I don't use an eyebrow gel, I just use a spoolie and I shape my brow in the way that I want it to look. And then the last step is the e.l.f. lip gloss in pink quartz. And I just apply that all over my lips and try and blend out the lip liner. But anyways, we went from this to this in an instant. It just took me a little longer since I had to explain, but it's a pretty quick makeup routine. But anyways, you're done, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next vid. Love you guys, bye!